Welcome into Outkick the Show. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me here on the program, wherever you may be across the great country or the great land. We have got a lot to get to. Let me clean off the lens here. Is that better? A little bit better. On Facebook. I want to tell you right off the top, if you love Outkick, go sign up for the Outkick VIP. A little bit of a teaser. We are announcing a new edition tomorrow. I think you guys will enjoy it. And you can listen on the radio show if you want to know who that edition is. I think you guys will actually be excited about it. So, a lot to get to, but I want to encourage you to go sign up for the Outkick VIP. Right now, you get an autographed copy of my book. You get a Outkick VIP membership, which allows you to comment on the site as well as go and be able to take advantage of our Outkick VIP message board. Also, you're allowed to call into the show. All of those things, plus we're going to be doing special events, Jason Whitlock, myself, and other writers. Just looked down, saw somebody say proud 3-year VIP. I appreciate you. We need to get multi-year VIP t-shirts out there. All right, a lot to get to. So much going on in life right now. But I want to start right off the top. By the way, let me ask you this, by the way. If you would please update me when the Derrick Henry official contract news comes down. Everybody hear me on that, Facebook and also on the Twitter machine. If you see the official Derrick Henry contract news, go ahead and pop it in here because the deadline for the franchise tag literally is coming right now. I was hoping that it was going to break right before I came on. But I'm curious to see what the dollars might be. I know Jay Glazer has reported it as a 4-year deal, but it's really the devil is in the details. Even a 4-year deal doesn't tell you much. What you need to know is what is the actual guaranteed money. And that will tell you the key. But we'll get to that in a sec. Coronavirus update. I know everybody is running around panicked like crazy. I want to hit you with this. Deaths yesterday were down 20% from last Tuesday. In other words, everybody's talking about how deaths are skyrocketing. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Deaths dropped 20% from last Tuesday, yesterday. Looks like they're going to be down again today off of last week. So we had 10 straight weeks of declines. We had a small little blip, and now it seems like we're going back down. I told you it's almost impossible to predict anything right now in 2020, but the fact that the overall trend lines are going down is a very positive thing, as is the overall news about potentially there being a vaccine. Moderna saying that they had a good result on their test trial. So we'll see what ends up happening with the vaccine in general, okay? So I am in favor of everybody being back at work. I'm in favor of schools. And let me tell you about this right off the top. I think it's really frustrating how facts don't matter in our country anymore, because the media has done such a good job in conjunction with people on social media spreading actually ridiculousness that I want to go right here to risk to kids. All right, this is from the CDC. You guys know I have 3 kids, 12, 9, and 5. I believe they should all be back in school sooner rather than later, i.e. in August. I'm going to be very upset if my 7th grader, my 4th grader, and my kindergartner aren't back in school. All right? Here are the terms here in terms of deaths in school. All right? We got right now 190 people. This is CDC. All right? 30 people under the age of 15, 30 kids have died of the coronavirus. All right? 30 kids under the age of 15 have died of the coronavirus. That sucks. I wish there were no deaths from coronavirus, all right? 190 died of the flu, okay? So you are 6 times as likely to die of the flu if you are a kid under the age of 15 as you are of the coronavirus. 436 kids under the age of 15 died of suicide. 625 kids under the age of 15 died of homicide. 4,119 people died of drowning or unintentional deaths such as drowning in this past year on average. Okay, so let me repeat. 30 kids died of the coronavirus. Again, I'm opposed to all death. I wish it never happened. 190 died of the flu. 436 died of suicide. 625 homicides. 4,114 drowning unintentional deaths. This means if you are a mom or dad out there, your kid is in more danger going to the swimming pool or the lake or the ocean than they are going to school. Now people say, oh, what about teachers? Well, teachers are not, adults typically are not getting this virus from kids. In other words, let me repeat this. Teachers are, adults theoretically, are not getting this virus from kids. It's much more common for adults to be giving it to kids. All right? So this is straightforward, easy to follow, not any complicating factors here. And yet, the reality is that basic facts don't matter right now. Basic data doesn't matter right now. The media and social media is breaking the entire universe of discussion, such that real facts, again, the fact that only 30 kids in the entire country under 15, and remember, most of those kids died with the coronavirus, not of the coronavirus. There is zero argument for schools not to be open. Zero. It is 100% based on the factual data. The reality is kids should be back in school. So again, 30 kids, for people out there who don't know this, we're going to clip it. You can share it. 30 kids have died of the coronavirus. And again, I should say with the coronavirus, compared to 190 from the flu. So you are over 6 times more likely to die of the flu, the seasonal flu, than you are of the coronavirus if you are a kid under 15. Suicide, infinitely more likely. Homicide, infinitely more likely. And drowning, you're under more danger at the swimming pool than you are at the schoolhouse. All right, this is easy to break down. All right, the terms, tell me again. I saw a couple of you tweeting out the terms on the Derrick Henry deal. What was it, 26.5 million guaranteed over the next 2 years? Because I'll break that down. 4 years, 50 million is what I was seeing most commonly. And that this is all interesting. 25.5 guaranteed as the report. 4 years, 50 million. So you can just toss out the 4 years, 50 million. And I'm assuming this is basically a 2-year, $25.5 million deal in the Titans' mind. And that is a contract that is high, but it's not crazy high. All right, because Derrick Henry was going to get $10.7 million right now under the franchise tag. And my bet is that they will be able to take that 25.5 and they'll be able to spread it out over multiple years, such that they probably create, would be my guess, a little bit more salary cap room the Titans do for themselves going forward. Now, Derrick Henry has been phenomenal the past couple of years. The challenge here is, here are the last year, the 5 highest paid running backs in the NFL, all right, and how they did. You tell me if you think they were worth it last season. David Johnson, I mean, he must have the greatest agent of all time. Todd Gurley, yeah, he's basically done. 1-year deal with the Rams. He looks like he's finished. Le'Veon Bell looked like a shell of himself, has actually been outperformed by James Conner when James Conner can stay healthy. Leonard Fournette, he's been trade bait for a long time. The Jags have been trying to move on from him. This is a no-brainer. And Lamar Miller, I think a lot of you are like, Lamar Miller was one of the 5 highest paid running backs in the NFL? This is crazy. This is unbelievable that Lamar Miller and David Johnson were ever on that list. So, to me, when you actually break down this contract, it doesn't sound like a disaster for the Titans. I will reserve a full comment until we see exactly how many years that 25.5 is spread out over. My bet would be it's basically a 2-year deal, and that we're going to be moving into a situation where 25-5 is spread out over 3 years. And that will create an opportunity potentially under the salary cap for the Titans to make a move, go get somebody like Jadeveon Clowney or someone else that they think can actually get to the quarterback. So that in and of itself will be interesting to see how much does Derrick Henry have left in the tank. He's had an incredible past year and a half, but that's a breakdown of the latest on Derrick Henry, the contract that he just signed. Tommy Tuberville, congratulations to Tubbs. He beat Jeff Sessions in the state of Alabama, and he is a huge favorite now to be a senator from Alabama, to beat Doug Jones and be a senator from Alabama for the next 6 years. This will be interesting to see what exactly happens. I don't foresee the Alabama Senate race being very close at all, as Trump is going to win Alabama by 20 points. And unless Tommy Tuberville was dating teenagers, like ended up happening back in the day with the allegation of the last Republican nominee, I think, Roy Moore, I think it was, I think that Tuberville is going to win by double digits, and the Republicans will take back that Senate seat. Tuberville ran a good campaign. He even won Tuscaloosa. It was a crushing for Jeff Sessions, who basically let it be known that it's very, very difficult to win right now in the Republican Party without Donald Trump's backing, particularly in states where he is wildly popular. So as a result, Alabama likely going back to a Republican. That'll mean it's 54 to 46, right, if my math is correct. And we'll see what happens in all the toss-up states going forward. It's going to be close to see who wins the Senate. We'll see what needs to happen in Iowa, Colorado, North Carolina, Maine. There are a lot of different Senate races that I am intrigued to see what exactly is going to happen. And so it wouldn't shock me, honestly, if it came down to 50-50 and we ended up with a tie, and whichever party wins, which right now would be the favor of the Democrats, that they would hold the Senate. So we'll see what ends up happening right there. Did you guys see this? Dwayne Wade tweeted, "We are with you. Keep leading," to Nick Cannon. Let me repeat this. I don't know if you've been following this situation, but Nick Cannon was fired by Viacom for making anti-Semitic comments that were somewhat similar to what Deshaun Jackson said. Nick Cannon was fired. Dwayne Wade, social justice warrior extraordinaire, then went on Twitter and tweeted, "We are with you. Keep leading," with a black fist held up for Nick Cannon. He since, I believe, has actually deleted that tweet, but this is totally ridiculous, totally crazy. And it points to the hypocrisy out there, which has been exposed in the last couple of weeks of many of these social justice activists. They don't want to hold themselves to the same standard that they are theoretically holding to everyone else. So how in the world do they actually in any way hope to be social justice warriors when they're not standing up to China, and when the NFL and the NBA have both been exposed to have anti-Semitic leanings that are pretty significant in many ways? So I don't know what Dwayne Wade is thinking. He has been out there as a social justice warrior. The story about Nick Cannon is pretty straightforward. It's easy. Look, if somebody you're friends with is in trouble publicly, it's easy to just send him a text message and say, like, "Hey man, I got your back. I know how tough this can be," something along those lines. But I don't know what Dwayne Wade could have possibly been thinking a couple of hours ago when he decided to go on Twitter and say, "We're with you, keep leading." He has since deleted it. And again, I haven't paid a lot of attention to the Nick Cannon story because I don't really care one way or the other very much about Nick Cannon. But for Dwayne Wade, who has been trying to be a social justice warrior leader of the NBA, to not be able to see that anti-Semitic comments would actually work against his overall goals in life, this is really, really a bad look for Dwayne Wade. and I will imagine he will try to explain it away, but what in the world was he thinking in the first place? All right, couple of other things. Bristol. There is a race tonight in Bristol, and there are going to be fans present. Up to, I believe, 30,000. I don't know how many people are actually going to go, but my question would be for everybody out there, if 30,000 people can show up to watch a race in NASCAR in Tennessee, how in the world can Vanderbilt and the University of Tennessee not play football games in September? Again, let me circle back around here if you're not following my logic. The state of Tennessee is going to allow up to 30,000 fans to show up at Bristol to watch a race. If that is occurring, how in the world could they not allow Vanderbilt and Tennessee to play football games in front of either small or no crowds? There's a joke there about Vanderbilt football, we know, because Vanderbilt football always plays in front of small or no crowds. But why couldn't Tennessee and Vanderbilt both be playing games in September? And so I think this is a larger part of the conversation that I would encourage you to go listen to that I had with SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey this morning. And I asked Commissioner Sankey that exact question, and he gave me a couple of interesting answers. All right, this hasn't gotten necessarily a ton of play, although our radio show is so massive now that everybody who hears it kind of pays attention as well. Sankey told me several things. He said, one, Alabama and Texas A&M could certainly be working to replace their games against USC and against Colorado, because the only two games that have been canceled out so far for the SEC are those games against the Pac-12. So he expected for Alabama and for Texas A&M to be going in and trying to replace those games. He also said that the overall infection rate among athletes on SEC campuses is near zero now. They got a lot of attention for the leaked stories about athletes testing positive. The numbers most recently, according to Sankey with me on the radio this morning, are near zero for SEC athletes as it pertains to the overall infection rate. He also told me that while he hoped to play 12 games, they were also working on a schedule that would have 8 games played and 10 games played. And so all of that you should go listen to. It's up on Outkick.com. You can go download the podcast. He's in hour 3. But my point straightforwardly, again, would be if we're already having events in front of 30,000 fans, and if there were fans in Talladega, why in the world would we not be able to play college football games, not to mention all the sports that are already going? This is pretty easy to break down. We got by August 1st, we're going to have Major League Baseball. We're going to have the NFL in training camp. We're going to have the NHL, the NBA, Major League Soccer. We're going to have the WNBA, NWSL, PGA, PBA, NASCAR, you name it, UFC, boxing. Every sport is going to be going. How in the world can all 12 of those sports that I just rattled off all be taking place and college football can't? This is interesting, right? The Corona Bros have lost every battle that they have fought over the return of sports, and they've now focused all their attention on college football. And frankly, college football, because there's no national commissioner, has not done a good job fighting back and saying, hey, we are going to play. Let's make it happen. All right? So as you go forward, this is not very difficult. We will play, I believe, and hope we will, college football. I appreciate all of you. Numbers going down, all right? Numbers are going down after a little bit of a rise after 10 straight weeks of declines. Numbers were down, as I started off the show by telling you, by 20% off of last Tuesday. Numbers look like they're going to be down again today off last week as well. And so we'll continue to update you. Got a loaded show coming for you tomorrow. Should be a fun announcement of a new edition. I encourage you to go actually out there and listen to the radio show. Go visit Outkick.com. Sign up for the Outkick VIP. I appreciate all of you. My name is Clay Travis. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Go dive into the numbers. Congrats to Derrick Henry for the big dollar figure. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. DBAP as always, unless you need to SBAP. Kisses. See y'all. Bye. All right. Love you, Facebook. See you guys. Thanks if you enjoy the show. Share